Right. Hi class. So for today's lecture, we're going to be talking about World War II Allied battles and their significance. So the first battle we're going to be going over is the Battle of Midway. So the Battle of Midway occurred on June 3rd through 6th, 1942. So it was a naval battle fought almost entirely with aircraft. So the main significance of it was the United States destroyed Japan's first line carrier strength and most of its best trained naval pilots. And together with the Battle of Guadalcanal, the Battle of Midway ended the threat of further Japanese invasion in the Pacific. So the next important battle we're going to be talking about is the Normandy invasion. So this was also called Operation Overlord or D-Day. So this was the Allied invasion of Western Europe, which was launched on June 6, 1944. So to give a brief overview of what it was the simultaneous landing of US, British, and Canadian forces on 5 separate beachheads in Normandy, France. So that is on the northwestern part of France, it is closest to the UK. So by the end of August 1944, all of northern France was liberated and invading forces reorganized for the drive into Germany. So this set the standard for the capitulation of Germany, and it was the first Allied battle against the Germans. So Allied forces eventually met with the Soviet forces advancing from the east to bring an end to the Nazi Reich. So in the Pacific, one of the most important battles was Iwo Jima. So this was February 19th to March 16th, 1945. So this was an amphibious invasion of the island of Iwo Jima. It was part of the Pacific campaign and part of the island hopping tactic to get closer and closer to mainland Japan. This was one of the bloodiest battles in the history of the U.S. Marine Corps. And one of the main reasons it was the Japanese military was willing to fight to the last man. It was a very intense battle, and they very much held their own against the Allied invasion. So another one that was a really important battle was Okinawa. So this was April 1st through June 21st, 1945. It was on the island of Okinawa, one of the largest of the Ryukyu Islands, located 350 miles south of Kyushu, which is really getting closer to the mainland Japan. So that whole process of island hopping, it was regarded as a vital precursor to the ground invasion of the Japanese homelands. And this was also one of the bloodiest battles in the Pacific War. It claimed the lives of more than 12,000 Americans and 100,000 Japanese, including commanding generals on both sides. And additionally, at least 100,000 civilians were either killed in combat or ordered to commit suicide by the Japanese military. So lastly, the Battle of the Bulge. This was December 16th, 1944 to January 16th, 1945. So back in Europe, this was the last major German offensive on the Western Front during World War II. This was an unsuccessful attempt to push the Allies back from the German home territory. And that term, the bulge, refers to the wedge that the Germans drove into the Allied lines. So while the Allies suffered some 75,000 casualties, Germany lost 120,000 men and supplies that it could not afford to replace, and that eventually led to the decline of the Nazi Reich and the eventual victory of the Allies in Europe.